to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild.
Run it.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTrade.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTrade.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Here we are.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. As we get it started on it's already a Wednesday, the 21st day, or the 20th day of October. I hope you're doing well out there. And of course, our show can be seen on Facebook across the world, across the nation, across the world today. And of course, we appreciate all you folks that have been watching and been great people to talk to every morning. And of course, we appreciate you.
People are watching. Everywhere I go, somebody says I watched the show or saw you on TV. So we appreciate it.
And of course, it is homecoming week at Charles Henderson High School, and that's always been a big week. And
well,
of course,
that's why you see my shirt, don't you?
Well, and another thing, they started rolling toilet paper, and I hope it wasn't Charmin, but boy, down the street from me, their house was totally.
Well, they got our house too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they target teachers, I guess.
Well,
and, this is the second, third, fourth time that my wife has been targeted. So yesterday afternoon, the Rice family was out there, and a lot of that toilet paper can be saved, Mike. It's perfectly good. It's called taking lemons and making lemonade out of it.
Oh boy!
That stuff's not cheap anymore either.
No, you're right. No question about it. It's not cheap.
All of it can be saved, but some of it was half rolled, or so.
Well, of course, the young man that was rolled yesterday, or the day before yesterday, was the quarterback on the Charles Simpson team. The starting quarterback his house got rolled. And,
oh no, they rolled the
I could tell that it wasn't just the trees were rolled; the whole house was rolled.
You know, I had a dead tree that I had removed a couple of years ago, so. What they used to roll with a lot of limbs, they couldn't roll anymore, but they just dropped it on the grass and the shrubs, and didn't take as long to clean it up this time as it did last time.
You got your orange on this morning. I reckon I could say I have my orange and blue on this morning, and of course it is time to get fired up for the Charles Henderson High School Trojans.
I can tell everybody they have a theme every day during homecoming week.
Yeah, good.
And the students at Charles Henderson today are supposed to dress up as their favorite Walt Disney character, or they dress like twins. They pick one person, their friends, and then those two friends dress exactly alike.
Yeah.
So my wife is dressing exactly like another one of her teacher friends.
Yeah. Of course,
who is your favorite Disney character?
Mickey Mouse. Right. Mickey Mouse.
The very first Disney character.
Yeah, and of course, Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse were probably my favorite.
If there had been no Mickey Mouse, there would be no Walt Disney World because
Nick, what was yours this morning? I wonder what Nick's was. Nick's had a variety of favorite characters, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, there have been some classic Disney movies. So it'd be hard to think about it. We're supposed to be going to Disney World. I've never taken the kids.
That's wonderful.
This spring.
That's
and
great.
So we'll see a lot of Disney.
So that'll be a Christmas present for our morning.
Yeah, we'll go easy on Christmas this year to hold back some money and to go to Disney World.
Well,
of course, it was closed for many months last year.
Yeah.
But they're up and going again.
Oh yeah, they'll do well. Of course, also Troy University's Day of Annual Giving is one day out of the year where there's one attempt to raise more than $200,000 in a single day. So it's,
wow.
Somebody calls you today and wants you to give, whether or not it's $50 or $100 or $500, give to Troy University. And of course, it's always about giving back to the university was so good to us, and still is such a vital part in our community. Troy University, they don't come any better than those folks. And again, the university will use $100 from the matching funds to match any gift. So that's great. So if you give them $100, they'll match it with $100. So it's like you'll get credit for $200. So that's really good, and of course, also the Intermark group, Tangs Incorporated, an anonymous donor, and an anonymous donor will match these funds. So that is awfully good. It's a good time to give to your university. So somebody calls on you, or you can call them yourself. You
know what I need to do is buy one. I guess you can still buy the bricks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I sell bricks to people almost every day.
Good for you. I love to take my kids on walk-arounds through the beautiful campus.
Yeah.
And so I always notice the bricks, on the sidewalks.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And our family needs one.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's a great gesture, and it'll be there forever. What I tell people, you put that brick down, and your great-great-grandchildren one day might see that brick and be awfully proud of you for giving one.
I agree.
I'll
tell you another thing that lasts forever that I've noticed. I sometimes take the kids to Murphy Park Playground.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got these little handprints, ceramic handprints that were done on a board. And the kids put their handprints and their name.
Oh, yeah.
Probably about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
All these little kids are now adults with their own kids now. But it's interesting and fun to look at the names of the children that did that.
Again, it is Troy University's Day of Annual Giving, and it's set for tomorrow, Thursday, and get ready to write a check that will be matched, like I said, will be matched by the university, so it's really good. And it's a great time to give to Troy University.
What year did you graduate from Charles Henderson?
I graduated in '65 from Charles Henderson, the class of 1965, which was a proud class. Let me just tell you a little bit about the class of '65. And of course, we were the baby boomers. They called us the baby boomers. Of course, that's with your mom and your daddy coming back from overseas, and they just happened to spend some time with each other, and they had a child, and
there was a rash of births in America after,
because there was so many people
from 1945 to 1965 right.
And then those that group of people just started our population started multiplying a little bit.
I want to stop you right there and think that is an interesting year that you graduated, and very soon after you graduated, probably in about 2 or 3 years, the world started to change dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, you were the Troy in school you remember was probably very, very similar to what my parents and their generation experienced. But by 67, 68, you know, you'd had Vietnam and the hippie movement, and the music had changed, and completely different, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
In just a few short years.
I'm going to do something this morning, and you know, people say, you know, am I losing my memory and everything? I'm sure I am, but I'm holding my memory to a lot of people, and I told somebody that I probably could do it, and I will do it. So throughout the next few minutes, I'll be throwing out a name for you, and it was the name of a person that graduated in 1965.
Well, let me stop you there. You remember how many people were in your graduating class?
It was one of the largest ever. We had over 150 graduate. You know, actually walk down.
More than we had.
It was and of course we were the baby boomers.
And also, you know, school was not integrated yet at that time, so you know that's interesting.
Let me just see what I can do here. Eileen Walker or Eileen Williford. I'm gonna use the maiden names. Eileen Williford, of course, she was a cheerleader. Rusty Gibson, number 44, great running back. Sonny Williford, number 33, great running back. Kaylee Green, Bill Price, Jerry Allen, Sybil Chapman, Mary Earl Elmore. I'm just thinking
did have a great class,
Michael Amos, Carol Crow, Wayne Qualls.
So you married someone that was in the exact same class as you.
Oh yeah, sure did.
Were y'all the only people in your class that got married?
Vicky Starling. I don't know. I'm trying to do this right.
I'm interrupting.
Vicky Starling, and of course, let's see here, Ginger Davis.
Was K.T. Cole in your class?
K.T. Cole, Robert K.T. Cole. Let's see, I mentioned Bill Price. Man, I might have got off something I could. Paula Bodner, Ann Stevens. Let's see here, Donnie Morgan. And I'm trying to not duplicate what I'm saying, what I'm doing here.
When you start a list, it's always dangerous.
It won't be duplicating. Let's see here, Johnny Pouncey, big Johnny Pouncey, 6'6" and weighed 290 pounds.
Yeah, you can just go down your football roster and get.
Yeah, well, I probably could, but I'm not. I've hit more cheerleaders, I reckon, than the rest of them.
Band members.
Cooper Adams, Mary Helen Trotter. Gosh, it's harder than I thought it would be. Let's see, I've called about 30 names.
You were going to try to name all 150 people in your class?
Yeah, I was trying to, and I'm trying to, but it's pretty tough.
Well,
but,
we need to bring your yearbook in tomorrow.
I know it. You're right. Charles Ammons is another one, and let's see. These are all great people too. Went out and made great citizens of our community, and. But it's fun to go down there, and I listed quite a few this morning, and I'm sure that I'll be throwing some other names out this morning. So if you hear me call somebody's name out, the
Charles Simpson
Rick
class.
Pike, and so I'll be doing it.
And there was no Pike Liberal Arts School to have some
that's
students.
right. The big school. You're right.
Just Charles Simpson, and y'all had been at the school had been opened about 5 or 6 years, or you were probably one of the first freshman classes, weren't you?
They opened the school, the Charles Simpson High School was opened in, I want to say 1960. I want to say 1960 or 61. William Davis, Francis, if you're watching this morning, I think they were the first class to attend Charles Simpson. Before then, it was a grand old school located on Elm Street in Troy, and that old school stood for a long time, and some of the all-time greats went to school there.
It was called Troy High School.
That's right.
When I was in high school at Charles Simpson, I was the editor of the school newspaper for my senior year, and that was called the Trojan Myths.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote for the Trojan Mist, and I don't know why we use this as the name of it, but I had it was called Inside the Trojan Horse, and I had an article every time the school went out. So if I go back and look at those old Trojan Myths, and
here's my trivia question: where did the name Trojan myths come from?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Myths. Oh.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I guess we won't ask you about to call in, but it's myths that stands for My Troy High School.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
That's where that came from?
That's a little
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're talking old times, and I was again thinking of old classmates, and I've gone down a lot of them already, and the class of '65.
I don't think they publish the Trojan Myths anymore. I'll tell you why.
GE Appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE Laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local. It's fall sale days on GE Appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE Laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local. It's fall sale days on GE Appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE Laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
Here we go. Back to our show, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass here in Troy. And of course, we appreciate Jason Gregory and his staff for being so generous to all of our friends out there. And of course, Troy University, friend to Troy University today. As tomorrow we celebrate Troy University's Day of Annual Giving. We've got a call coming in. Let's see what we got here.
We've still got technical difficulties. Let's see. Good morning.
Hello. Might have to do it again.
That thing's normally not on. Let's see.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, morning.
We had a little technical difficulty.
Where are you calling from this morning, son?
I'm calling from beautiful Great Beach, Florida. It's been really pretty down here this week.
Well, good to have a call from Great Beach, Florida this morning. And, of course, they're celebrating homecoming this week at Charles Henderson High School as the Trojans prepare to go up against Headland. The Rams are coming to town. The Rams are coming to town.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a lot of breaking news yesterday. Not good for Troy football at all. I guess I'll talk about that.
No. Tell us about it.
Starting wide receiver Reggie Todd was arrested yesterday, and it has a lot to do with the shootings down at Ladd Stadium that took place at the high school game between Williamson and Viger. So Reggie Todd is suspended following arrest on charge of hindering prosecution in Ladd Stadium shooting.
Oh, boy.
So somehow Reggie Todd, Troy's starting receiver, who was a Mississippi State transfer, star player at Blunt, was arrested, charged for hindering prosecution in relation to the shooting at Mobile's Ladd Stadium last Friday night. Mobile Police Department confirmed on AL.com late Tuesday afternoon that Todd's arrest was related to the shooting at the Viger-Williamson game.
Oh, man.
Todd was arrested regarding the whereabouts of Ladd People's Stadium shooting suspect Hezekiah Belfon.
Oh. So it doesn't seem like he.
So the arrest is also they don't know what his relationship was to the shooter, who is charged with 5 counts of attempted murder at the shooting. He was booked and charged with hindering prosecution and possession of marijuana.
Oh no!
Which every kid in college probably smokes marijuana. But anyway, not good news. Troy's had Todd as a starter at wide receiver for 3 years in a row now, and with 5 games left to play in the rest of the season, I guess Todd's probably not going to play the rest of the year. And Troy's already doesn't have a lot of depth at wide receiver, so crazy story here.
I know it. And he was he had a lot of potential, Mike. I would have said he was a pro prospect coming into the year, and
I mean, he's old. This is his 6th year. He's one of those super seniors. This is his 3rd year at Troy.
And they've given him an opportunity
to play. He played junior
play.
College, and then he played at Mississippi State, I think, for 2 years.
Yeah.
But at Troy, he's had this year he's had 21 catches for 300 yards. It's his 3rd season with the Trojans. He's had 104 receptions for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns since he's been at Troy.
Well, you're right. That's a good career. So it's definite that he'll be out, or this?
Yeah, since the Troy Athletic Department released the following statement, we are aware of the situation surrounding Reggie Todd. He has been suspended indefinitely from our football program pending investigation.
Boy, oh boy. Well, the thing is, get your young receivers and bring them on up, and
next man up.
And next man up. You're right. Next man up.
He was released from Pike County Jail Tuesday morning on $10,000 bond, so he is no longer in jail. But this is a crazy story. I mean, Reggie Todd played in San Marcos, Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Over the weekend, and this shooting happened on Friday night. So obviously the shooter, I guess, came through Troy. Somehow has a relationship with Todd.
Oh yeah. Man, oh man.
That shooting was real scary. I mean, one person shot multiple times, and
yeah, one person's in critical condition. 5 people were actually shot.
Oh gosh, and we got that close to our home. I hate it.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things you would never, as Coach Lindsey, I mean, I'm sure has been shocked. I mean, Reggie Todd probably didn't get back till the wee hours of the morning, Sunday morning, and then somehow this got involved. Where this, supposedly, I guess this shooter came through Troy.
Yeah. Oh boy. See, they probably are not going to practice again until Tuesday, or probably, I don't know if they went out yesterday, but they have the open date. Troy does not play again until Thursday night week when they play Coastal Carolina. So he was up to no good, and then he got caught. And
well, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. He is innocent till proven guilty. And
these are just charges.
Our hopes and our prayers go out to not only that young man, but his whole team. As you know, you hate to have something like that. It's, you know, it's. Yeah, I really could not comment on something like that.
Right, we don't know very much information. I'm kind of hesitant to, you know, I can kind of speculate like Michael has what might be involved, but he definitely wasn't one of the shooters.
Well, I mean, it's an active headline on AL.com. I mean, it says, update, Troy's Reggie Todd suspended upon arrest on charges of hindering prosecution in lab shooting. So this is what the charges are.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, David Headley, a member of the Fabulous Shades, plays the trumpet, and a talented young man then and now. And of course, John Key, Dr. John Key, was a member of my class.
We're going through some of the class in honor of homecoming, and
that's right.
Past classes. We're naming some of
Daddy
the people
Pelfrey
from the famous
was a member
class
of our
of '65.
Daddy Pelfrey was a member of our class, and we're gonna name them all before it's all over with.
Well, what were some of the big? I want to ask you what some of the big events of 1965 were that you remember.
Well, I will tell you this: we always had a homecoming parade, and the homecoming was a big thing. And
who was your homecoming queen?
The homecoming queen was Joe Rape, I believe. Joe Bruce Rape was our homecoming queen, I think, and our Jacqueline. Wait a minute. Jacqueline Brantley was our homecoming queen,
okay.
I'm thinking. And then and Joe was, I'm sure,
on the court.
Yeah, she was a member of many homecoming courts, and beautiful lady today, just as much as ever. And of course, we also won the South Alabama Conference Football Championship by beating the Enterprise Wildcats at their homecoming, beat them 21-20. Jackie Jackson, who was a member of my class, Jackie Jackson kicked the extra point, and Troy wins over Enterprise.
There was some singing on the bus going back to Troy, I bet.
What, Mike?
How many tackles do you have in that game?
I don't know how to feel of it. I know this: I recovered the fumble that won the game because he tried to. It was one of those fair catch fumbles, and he fumbled it. And Mickey Red from Enterprise fumbled it, and Mike Amos from Troy recovered it. And that
sealed the game.
So you were what they call Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot. Yeah, I was in charge of getting the kicker. On the kickoff receiving team, I was in charge of getting the kicker. And you know what? I caught that kicker a few times with his head looking up like that, watching the ball. Hey, it came right up under him right there, you know.
Oh,
man. It was not safe to be a kicker when I was playing.
You mean not a kicker or a returner?
Well, we just did this. We took the kicker out pretty much every game. You know, we blocked him, and we went right straight up the middle. You know, and but it was fun doing it. And you know, I remember my first game I ever played in my life. I'm playing op, and I'm bragging here, but it happened. I hit the kicker hit the guy next to him, and the kicker hit the guy next to him, hit another one. 3 guys on the opening kickoff of the first game I ever played.
Were you a sophomore?
When I was a junior, when I ever started. You know, I didn't start as a sophomore. We didn't have sophomore starters much.
But you played a little, I bet.
Oh yeah, I went in there, but you know, we were loaded with talent. We had guys like Richard Williford. The seniors on my team was Richard Williford, Jerry Rose, Jimmy Norman, Bob McGee, Larry Shaver, Brantley, and it was about the only team. Charlie Griffin. We were talking about seniors on that team that were.
Who was your coach?
My coach in the '65 was Frank Sadler, an outstanding coach, and my junior year was Tom McClendon, and my sophomore year was Tom McClendon. But Let me just say this: you might have seen some juniors might play a lot, but you very rarely ever saw a sophomore play.
Charles Simpson this year, the roster is replete with freshmen and sophomores.
But what I was saying, that we had that kind of talent. We have real good talent. And,
I've talked a lot about our 1980 state championship team where I was a sophomore. And there were 2 people in my class that actually played a regular amount that year, and that was it. It was Charles Bradshaw was a part-time starter, and Kenny Smith was a part-time starter.
Now they play freshmen like you wouldn't, and stuff like that. They would. That freshman guy would still be at the junior high school playing for the junior high. You know?
I would say that state championship team played. Nobody played both ways, so you had 22 starters. I bet 18 of them were seniors.
Yeah.
That's why we won the state championship, was we had a massive senior class, and those guys had all been playing football together their whole lives.
We're continuing to talk about the class of 1965. Johnny
Yeah.
Teal, the great Johnny Teal, Mike, the quarterback. I'm just now getting to him, and he was our quarterback our junior and senior years. And we only lost, I think we lost two games in 2 years. We had a good team. Really
Very
did.
good team.
Of course, you lost Johnny Till, your dear friend, to a car accident. Was that after y'all's senior year?
Yes, it was my freshman year in college. In fact, Johnny and I just got back from a trip to Florida, and then he went off to basic training. You know, a lot of people went off to basic training to not have to go to the war, and that was Vietnam. And but a lot of people went ahead and went into the Army, the Air Force. He was the actual Air Force, and one weekend he and 2 of my other good friends, Johnny Helton and Dennis McGlon, and those 2 are 2 more seniors that I'm calling out. But Johnny Till and Johnny Helton and Dennis McGlon were killed in that accident.
They were all 3 killed?
God rest their souls, and in heaven are they looking
that
down.
was one of the worst, most tragic accidents in Troy history.
Well, it was, and I can remember 2 bad accidents. One of them, I shouldn't. I'm not going to bring that up. That's bad memories, and you know, this is key. This is homecoming, but. Again, it's fun to reflect on in the past, and of course, like I said, we won the conference championship. And
can I tell my homecoming story I told you off
yes,
there?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I was a sophomore in 1980, and at our homecoming assembly, you always had a speaker.
Yeah.
And my dad, late father, was asked to speak, which is fine. He's a good speaker and did a good job. But the scary part was Miss Morgan, our SGA sponsor, our math teacher, for some reason asked me to introduce my father. And I was telling Mike off air that, man, that was a nerve-wracking experience to have to address the whole student body and, you know, give a public little 1-minute speech. I don't even remember what I said. I guess I got through it, but
it'd have been really easy, right? All you would have to say is my dad played for Bear Bryant, and everybody would have been in awe.
That's right.
That's probably why they asked him to speak. You know, he was a businessman and loved Troy. And I'll tell you something else. He's not the only Rice that spoke to the homecoming assembly in the 90s. By the time we had the Troy Citizen, I'll tell you when it was. It was 1996. They asked my little brother Bobby, who was graduating in '86, to be the homecoming speaker. And Bobby had never done any public speaking, but I went and watched him. He did a fantastic job speaking to the kids.
Dad, has Mike Amos ever done any public speaking?
Oh, I imagine I have a few times. But you know, everybody always says, always look to the back when you're speaking. Always look to the back, and but I always made sure that your head goes this way and this way. You turn this way and you're this way. You're playing to the audience, and I learned that a long time ago.
You know, what makes you feel better is don't get stressed out over it, because nobody's going to remember what you said.
Well, I did a lot of I traveled a lot, and I spoke to different functions over the years. I used to tell this joke when I would be, and this would be talking to my colleagues, or what I said, the people I actually work with. I used to say, it's great, especially if I spoke after lunch. So I said, well, I hope you all had a good lunch. I said, I had a good lunch. I had a hamburger with ketchup and mustard. I was pointing toward my tie. I had a hamburger with ketchup and mustard. That always got me started pretty well.
You got to tell a little joke.
Exactly.
You know, some of the best speakers. Dr. Hawkins, of course, is a great public
he really
speaker.
is. One of the best I've ever heard.
Dad was really good. I remember Philip Marshall, the former sports editor at the Montgomery Advertiser. He spoke to one of our assemblies one time, and I remember I was not impressed. I mean, he was a good writer and still is, but he was not a public speaker.
You know, Larry Blakeney was great at a mic, great in front of the podium.
Well, you know, and you know, he was the key to all speaking is knowledge of what you're saying. I've always said, you know, and
that's him got a whole.
We got a call coming in.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Good morning, Bill. Will Matthews.
Hey, Will, Mike Amos calling and talking to you this morning, and of course, we appreciate Will.
What year
calling.
did you graduate from high school, Will?
74.
At Carroll High School?
Yeah.
And of course, he's just a youngster, man. He's just a youngster.
Will's calling in to brag about Carroll's blowout of Charles Henderson.
Yeah, they did. They blew him out from I don't know. Is that stadium named after your granddad?
It is.
So see, he's a pretty influential guy in the Ozark area.
The stadium's named after your
now
family.
he's back living in Ozark. Do you like that, Will?
Yeah, I moved in last Thursday, and I've got some more furniture I'm moving today, and then I'll be done. I'll be fully moved in.
Let me ask you this, Will. How old is that house that you're living in?
The one I'm living in.
That you moved in? No, I don't know. He said on that main street is all old houses, isn't it, Will?
When you're talking about my son, now he's moving in my grandmother's house, and it's going to take about 3 or 4 months. That house is over 100 years old.
Yeah, I was wondering. Your house is not one of the old houses?
No, my house is 10 or 15 years old.
Okay. And
let's recap. This is the Matthews Law Firm's picks from last week. He had Cal plus 14. That was a winner. He had the Arkansas Razorbacks minus 4. That was a loss. Cincinnati minus 21. That was a winner again. LSU plus 11.5. That was a winner again. He had Georgia minus 22, but Mark Stoops called timeout with 3 seconds left from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, that was all
covers.
Is that right? Is that right?
That's called a backdoor cover.
Then he had Mississippi State plus 17. That was a loss. Tennessee plus 3 was a loss, barely. He had the over in the TCU Oklahoma game, over 65. That was an easy win. He had UAB minus 15.5. That was an easy win. He had under in the South Carolina Vandy game. That was a easy win.
Golly.
And then he had Ole Miss Tennessee over the 82.5. That did not happen, Will.
No.
But you had a pretty good day. I tell you what, that's good in most anybody's.
The game that killed me was the Georgia game because I had the under and I had Georgia. Both were winners with 1 second to go.
Well, tell me this. You mean he ran a play with 1 second to go?
No, it was Kentucky.
He called a timeout. The game should have been over, but he called a timeout to see if they could score a touchdown. And they scored a touchdown with no time left.
This wasn't Georgia. This wasn't Georgia running up the score. This was just Kentucky trying to score. I don't blame them for trying.
Oh, I knew Kentucky wanted to score. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Kentucky was trying to win the money.
Yeah,
I want my boosters and alumni that bet on my team to win.
And that's a very popular young man today, that coach, because he did it, you know.
I had Kentucky, so I'm proud they scored that late.
I am too. Yeah. Well, Will Matthews had a great week, and of course, everybody's looking forward to the next week when Troy goes on the road to play Coastal Carolina. That will be quite a.
Did y'all see how Vanderbilt lost Saturday?
No.
Yeah, I saw it.
I didn't.
It was horrible.
Was it on the last play or what?
Well, Vanderbilt's on the 4-yard line of South Carolina. They're 3 points ahead. Okay? It's 4th down. They decide to kick a field goal. That's real smart, you know. So they kick a field goal, go up by 6, and South Carolina's got a minute and a half to go, and they drive 75 yards down there and score about 25.
For a touchdown, but it did make them have to score a touchdown instead of kicking a
field goal. Yeah, that's why I did it.
Well, listen, if I'm coaching, I'm going for the touchdown. You win right then. If you don't get it, you leave them on the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that's right.
They got to go 96 yards, you know, to beat you. Let them go maybe 66 yards to tie you. You know.
Yeah, they brought the backup quarterback in to win it on that last drive. South Carolina, how in the world they won 4 games is a miracle.
It really is.
That guy's actually done a pretty good job. Beamer.
They've got a good coach.
That's a heartbreaker for Vanderbilt.
What did you think of that crazy Ole Miss Tennessee game? I felt like that was the right call on 4th down. I felt like he was short because of where the ball was. Yeah, on the camera, he didn't reach out for the first down. But Tennessee fan base, I guess, doesn't know football. They didn't realize they had 3 timeouts left and could have easily got the ball back, which they did. But before that, we had a 30-minute delay.
And actually, Michael, they had a guy wide open in the end zone to win the game.
Oh, he dropped it. He hit him in his hands.
Yeah. I mean, they could have won the game. And then the quarterback gets hurt, and they bring in the backup quarterback, and that idiot doesn't know that he runs the ball. He doesn't know the game's over. He should have just thrown it in the end zone somewhere.
Yeah, he didn't even give him a chance. He just scrambled.
Is that quarterback, was he really hurt? Is he going to be playing against Alabama?
I don't know. I mean, it looked like he got carried off. He couldn't put any pressure on his leg. I don't know if it was ACL or what. Ole Miss found a way to win that game with 4 offensive starters out. That is what's incredible to me.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, it was an entertaining, great game. Tennessee is really one of the surprise teams in America this year. Given all the players they've lost.
So Tennessee definitely had a chance to win the game, no question about it.
Yeah, we had big news breaking overnight in conference. I mean, this is a sign of the Conference USA is pretty much no more. UAB is one of 6 Conference USA schools that has officially been asked to apply for the American Athletic Conference. So that means that UAB will make the jump up. They're going to join Charlotte. So you'll have the Charlotte market, the Birmingham market, the Florida Atlantic. It's kind of the Miami market. North Texas is near Dallas, Texas. Rice is the Houston market. And then Texas, San Antonio will all make the jump to the American Athletic Conference due to the fact they lost Central Florida, Cincinnati, and Houston to the Big 12. So they'll have a 14-team league with Memphis, Navy, SMU, South Florida, Temple, Tulane, and Tulsa. So that means Conference USA is going to be coming and taking tons of schools from the Sun Belt.
That's
well,
right.
I'll tell you this right now that I think that Sun Belt's stronger football-wise than those conferences. Yeah.
I know they are. But
I don't know, man. You got Memphis is a pretty phenomenal basketball program.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we were saying just football. I was just looking at football. Now,
you said all the American Athletic Conference. You listed all the teams. I didn't even know who they were. But, none of those teams are that big of brand teams to me. I mean, SMU maybe and Rice.
All right.
I mean, Navy obviously has got a big following. But, I mean, like Tulane and Temple are not any names that jump out at you.
All right, now you give
I'm
me.
thinking about schools that would make UAB fans want to buy season tickets to go see these teams, and I'm not hearing any of in that list.
I tell you,
Texas San Antonio is actually undefeated this year. I mean, that's a school out of San Antonio, Texas. That's they're going after the big media market, so that's what they're doing here.
Well, it would really help San Antonio a lot in their program if they could get in that conference. And you said that's pretty much a done deal?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it should happen. Should happen later next week. They're saying that those 6 teams will make the move, and then of course the Sun Belt. We'll have to see what happens, but I guarantee you South Alabama's going to Conference USA. They're going to want that Mobile market.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Is that going to be an immediate thing, or is it a couple of years away?
They'll start playing in 2023, it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
does that mean Oklahoma and Texas will be in the SEC then?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So that
initially the American Athletic Conference was going to go after Air Force, Boise State, Colorado State, and San Diego State, which are pretty good programs to join, but they decided to stay in the Mountain West. That's what the article read. But UAB, this is the best conference you can be in, non-Power 5.
Yeah. So
I'm like Mike though. I think recently the last couple of years the Sun Belt's better than the Conference USA and the AAU. I mean, if you look at Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Lafayette, Appalachian State, some other teams.
I would say that maybe. I would say that now, but Central Florida and Cincinnati and Houston leaving, I would say that. But Cincinnati, Central Florida, and Houston would beat anybody in the Sun Belt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where will they go? Where will they go?
The Big 12.
They're going to the Big 12.
Okay, that really enhanced their.
Well, when Texas and Oklahoma made this announcement, the SEC made this announcement, you knew that the dominoes and ripple effect was coming, and so Michael and Will and Mike, what besides South Alabama, what other Sun Belt teams do you think might be leaving to go to the Conference USA?
Well, I mean, you'd probably go after Coastal Carolina because they're such a hot commodity and they're near Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big market.
Sure is.
App State's got a great name.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern's got a great name. I don't know. I would think Arkansas State's a possibility. Louisiana Lafayette's a possibility to go to Conference USA. Those would be natural rivals with Southern Miss.
Boy, you're right. This could have a big effect on the Sun Belt.
It could really hurt Troy.
How many are they going to get? Do you know how many they'll get from the Sun Belt?
They'll probably try to get six teams because 6 of their teams are leaving leaving Conference USA for the American.
Including UAB.
This is basketball, baseball, football, softball.
Oh yeah.
These are, this will give them 14 members.
The other good thing about the Sun Belt is it's a good geographic regional conference because the schools are pretty close to each other in the same neighborhood. Yeah. Now these conferences, like you just described, I mean, they're spread out all over the country, which is no big deal for football, but man, making your girls softball team travel 2,000 miles to play a game it's got to be expensive.
Well, hey, Mike,
only thing you can hope here is that the Sun Belt Commissioner and the Conference USA merge and become one conference. That's the only thing you can hope for Troy. Is that it just becomes this huge conference. It'd probably be 16 teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. You're right. There were 2 big stories that affect Troy.
Yeah. And Troy does not have what you call a brand, area that like a Mobile is a big area compared to Troy, And
it's all about media, media markets.
Yeah, and so what would that give the Conference USA as far as the media market? Conference USA.
Well, I mean, Conference USA would basically try to go after, I guess, the Sun Belt. They have to get 6 teams on the Sun Belt.
Yeah, who would they get?
Well, let me ask you this: Who is left in the Conference USA?
You could possibly get Liberty.
Yeah.
Who is left in Conference USA after these teams leave?
I'll pull it up and I'll tell you.
But Liberty is so far away, Mike.
Huh?
But Liberty is a long ways away.
Yeah, but a lot of these schools are long.
Yeah.
You back on the air?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Of course, Mike's talking about
Conference
some
realignment.
shake-ups in the
Shake-ups.
conference, and we don't know exactly who's going to go, but
And
it
then
could affect the Sun Belt
And
quite a
then
bit.
the other question is, who else would the Sun Belt go after? Have we talked about Jacksonville State moving to Division I or West Florida? The Sun Belt did a wise thing a couple years ago. Instead of going after existing Division I teams, they got teams that were moving up to
Yeah.
Division I, Mike, like
That's
Georgia
right.
Southern, App
That's right.
State,
Yep.
Coastal Carolina, and
Here we
Here's
go.
who you'd have left in Conference USA. Right now, Florida International is still in Conference USA. Louisiana Tech still in Conference USA. Marshall University, Middle Tennessee State is still in Conference USA. Old Dominion still in Conference USA. University of Texas El Paso is still in Conference USA. And Western Kentucky is still in Conference USA.
some of those are good matches for
Yeah.
the Sun Belt and Troy. Some of them aren't.
Yeah.
Those good basketball schools.
Yeah.
But no real big market, though, is it? You know,
You got Middle Tennessee State outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised they were not trying to make the move up, but I mean, they've been really bad in football lately.
Florida International's down in that's the whole South
Florida
Florida.
International's in Miami.
Yeah, but you know that they don't care about
They
anything
don't
about
care. You know,
football. They worried about sunshine.
You know what I think is these commissioners need and TV executives need to think more about tradition and passionate fan base.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Sun Belt did right. Is they got Georgia Southern 1AA that already had tradition and fan base. They got Appalachian State, the same thing. Coastal Carolina, Troy.
But
That
Troy-
ought to factor for something more than your TV markets, because you know the really, you think about the TV viewership. Yeah, these teams are in bigger populated areas, but what's the TV market really going to watch? In Birmingham, you know, they're saying, oh, we're going after the Birmingham TV market. Well, the people in Birmingham ain't watching a UAB football game if Alabama and Auburn are on some other channel. So, I mean, you might have more people, but they ain't going to be watching UAB football.
All right,
Bill, there's only one reason people would watch Troy or UAB or any of those schools, and that's if they had a bet on them.
Mm-hmm, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, in your loyal fans, and yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
This is real interesting. You know what the enrollment is at Florida International University?
50,000.
58,000.
58,000.
I
Oh,
would've
yeah,
had
huge.
no-
But a lot of those are day. Well,
Might be a lot of international students if they're an international university.
well,
But
maybe
even
so.
like Old Dominion has 25,000 students. UTEP has 25,000 students. Texas San Antonio has 31,000 students.
Yeah, all of them. Troy's the smallest of that whole bunch. I think.
Troy's actually one of the smallest in America in Division
Yeah.
One. If Troy counts the whole university, which is Dothan and Montgomery and Phoenix City, but if you just counted Troy students, it would be about 7,500. Which there's
Troy Rice University has 7,000. It's a private school, and then Tulsa's a private school.
Yeah.
They don't have any students.
Vandy's small, too.
Vandy small, Wake Forest
Yeah.
is small, Army and Navy are small, of course.
When Will Matthews was a great all SEC golfer at Vanderbilt, how many students were there, Will?
Oh, I'd say probably 6,000.
Yeah.
Smaller than Troy now.
But you know, of course, Troy, you got to look at them as they look at them as having those branches too. You know, you got Montgomery, you got Dothan, you've got Phoenix City area that's part of their enrollment. So I would say they're over 12,000 students.
Well, now if you look in Phil Steele, they count the total enrollment, because it is one university. Remember, they made a big push to make it one university, and it's 17,000 is what they say.
That's about right. Yeah.
See, Troy has 10 teams that play football in the Sun Belt Conference. There's 10 colleges that play football. There's 12 that play every other sport except football. That's Arkansas Little Rock and UT Arlington.
All right, let's
that
take.
Means that if you added these 8 existing teams from Conference USA, that would be 18 schools that play football. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, but then you're going to subtract, like you just said, 6, so you're going to get to a net of 12.
No. I'm adding it to 10 conference playing football teams from the Sun Belt right now that Troy's in, and the 8 Conference USA teams that are left merged together. That'd be 18 playing football colleges.
All right, let me ask this now. I'm looking at it on Troy's end of it. Now, I don't think Troy's going anywhere. I think Troy will stay in that conference as long as the conference stays. And who do you have? I would think Georgia Southern would stay. I think
La
Monroe would love to stay, and
Lafayette would love to leave.
Lafayette would love to leave.
I would go out to Lafayette. I know I would go out to Coastal Carolina and probably South Alabama and App State. I'd try to get those 4.
Yeah,
I bet they will. You're right.
And of course, if they lost that, now they would go into that.
I think the more likely scenario is a kind of a combination of what Michael's talking about. You lose those 4, and then you try to just merge with what's left in the Conference USA, which would be a pretty good conference. The other option is adding these lower teams that are thinking about going up to Division I, like Jacksonville State, Western Florida. There's some James Madison. There's some good 1AA programs that have the potential of going Division I that you could look at.
Yeah,
Michael, did Alabama build a new stadium?
Yeah, South Alabama got a new stadium.
Yeah. Dad went to the game last year. It only holds about 26,000 though.
That's right. But their market is what everybody's looking at, and looking at the Coastal Carolina market. That's a huge market. As far as television market, and that's one of the Louisiana Lafayette. Now I don't know if Lafayette's got much of a market, but
no, it doesn't really.
But definitely in the South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, and see what's our last one there.
Well, I mean, I guess you could technically throw in Georgia State, and that's the Atlanta market.
Yeah, I know. That's right. You're exactly right.
But they all look at tradition and fan base. Do you want to have a conference that you go to a lot of games that are 8,000 people and no real loyal alumni? I don't think they're looking at the whole picture.
Liberty and the fighting Jerry Falwell, of course, neither one the Falwells aren't there anymore, but they've got to be loving this. They're going to end up in Conference USA or the Sun Belt. They're going to end up in either one.
Yeah.
I think Liberty thinks. I think Liberty thinks they're too.
Independents out there.
No. Did you say Navy would be in one of these conferences, Mike?
They're already in.
Navy's in Conference USA.
Oh, I got you.
Well, it's all very interesting.
Wait. Sorry, Navy's in the American.
Yeah, okay, in America, yeah.
Well, it's probably all moot because we're 10 years down the road, you're heading to 3 or 4 super conferences and a blue blood tier that's Division I proper, and then a little minor league Division 1AA classification that all these other schools.
But Johnny Williams act like that probably couldn't happen because of all the other sports.
Yeah, he might be right, but
you'd have to make it only football only.
But I bet that football is all that really matters as far as these TV executives are concerned with, and that's all what we focus on here in Troy. But yeah, so that might just be a football classification. But these ESPN is driving this train, and they want every game they put on the air to be a high interest game. I've read one columnist that said, what the metric is that they're looking for? They're looking for games that draw 4 million viewers. You can look at the Nielsen ratings. That's what they want. That's the magic number. And so when you got Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC and playing 9 and 10 SEC games, you're going to have a lot of games that get at least 4 million viewers.
We're going to have to go to our break, our 8 o'clock break, and of course we appreciate all of you sponsors out there. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's fall sale days on GE appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Bam. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local, and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
I'll call him right now. Put them
It's Millie's birthday.
Oh, we're back on there.
Oh, it's a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Millie. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Happy birthday.
That's my little granddaughter.
Millie Crow Amos turns 4 today.
And her name is Millie Crow Amos.
She's
is that
1
right?
year younger than Jack.
Millie Crowhill Amos.
No, Crowhill Amos. Oh, me. So that's how she's referred to.
Hey, I got a question for you when you get a chance to do some research. I never found out what the Alabama-Texas A&M TV rating was. You know, was it how many million viewers? I bet with the whole country pulling for Alabama to lose, that the ratings would have been really, really high. But you look at that number.
I bet a lot of people turned over and watched it.
So that is the 4 million is the magic number. They love those games that draw 4 million. I bet you that one drew 8, 9, 10 million viewers.
Your cousin Chris is in the news today. He's got a column in the Troy Messenger, and it's an excellent column, and I've been reading it. So Chris Amos has joined the group at the Troy Messenger, it looks like.
I can tell you the backstory. Can I tell you the backstory?
He's become he wanted to join the media like his famous uncle and first cousin.
That's right.
Well, I tell you what, it's an excellent article.
He is a sports columnist. Here's the backstory. Chris started making these little random observations on his Facebook site about college football. He'd watch the games for the weekend, and then he would list 9 or 10 things that stood out to him or drew his attention. And they're very popular because he gets a lot of likes on Facebook. And I emailed him. I said, "Man, this needs to be in the paper. These are really good. I'll contact my little brother, the publisher." I said, and I told Bobby, I said, "You need to run these." And sure enough, he's now running them. So everybody, I don't know if they're online at thetroymessenger.com. I hope they are. But if not, get your Wednesday free paper. It's well worth the read to read what Chris thinks about what's going on in college football.
And we'll bring Chris on.
I tell you what, he had his heart broken last night, and every Braves fan in the country had their heart broken. The Braves are up 5-2 going into the 8th inning, about to go up 3-0 in the series. They've lost like 10 straight at Los Angeles playing the Dodgers. Of course, this is for the National league championship, and the Braves look like they have it locked up. And next thing you know, they bring in a reliever who's had a really bad career up until this year, a guy named Luke Jackson, and all Luke Jackson does is give up a single and I think a walk, and the next thing you know, the Dodgers hit a 3-run homer, take the lead. I mean, tie the game 5-5. Bellinger hit a 3-run homer in the 8th, and then Mookie Betts came in and hit a double, and they take the lead. Then they bring in their great closer, Jensen, and close the Braves out. The Braves lose a heartbreaker last night. Now the series is 2-1. Yeah. The Braves are still leading, but that's the kind of game you got to win. Last night, and they choked down the stretch.
Mike, I'm trying to get a call in to Chris Amos here, to talk to him a moment about his article, and I think anybody that loves the SEC and football, they would love reading these articles. And also,
all right, here's your rating from Alabama Texas A&M a few weeks ago. The game averaged 8.334 million viewers over the course of the broadcast, and peaked with 12.263 million viewers from the last quarter.
That is awesome. I mean, the average is 8.33 million, but at some point, people are channel surfing. At some point, you had over 12 million people.
Isn't that amazing?
And that's the second game. Alabama's Florida game drew similar ratings, but these networks are ecstatic if they can get a game that has 4 million viewers, because they sell more ads and they get higher prices for the ads, and they know that people gotta pay for ESPN or subscribe to it or through Troy Cable if they have this content and products. And so that's really, if people think about it, that's what's driving all of this. Is ESPN wants to have those premier blue blood top games so they can get those ratings, and so it's a trickle down effect with all these. But ESPN is pulling the strings behind the puppet masters, trying to get all these games where they're going to get 4 to 12 million viewers. And that's what I got. That's my little analysis of the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I thank you. I thank you for that, Michael. That's really stunning. That's huge ratings.
We didn't talk about this in the Alabama game, but I feel like you saw the future in Alabama's offense against Mississippi State. If Bryce Young becomes a dual threat quarterback, which I think everybody felt like he was going to be, and runs the ball like he did against Mississippi State in key situations, that changes Alabama's offense a lot.
It sure does. It gives them another weapon.
Yeah, that gets all these defenses, something else to look at, and that made a big difference in that game. I think he's got to keep it about 5 or 6 times every game.
I tell you what, I noticed he's got good speed. I didn't realize he had that kind of speed.
He's quick. He can get away from people. He probably does need to. And I've never been as big a critic of him as others, because his MO is, I'm going to keep my eyes downfield and try to make a big play passing, which he's done a lot of too. But yeah, there are times where when you see green grass and you go ahead and get the first down or get what you can, and he can do it.
Yeah.
Against somebody like Georgia, if Alabama ever ends up playing Georgia in the SEC championship, with that good defense, if you get a chance to get 7 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards, you better take it.
The key also, what you're seeing more now, and you're starting to see more of it in the pros, is play action, and we talked about that. If that quarterback sticks that football in the running back's crawl and decided he wants to take it out and either throw it or run it, it makes a lot of 3 things that could happen, and all of them are good. If you're on offense,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, play action is a weapon.
But look at Jones. Look at Mac Jones. That's all you need to do. He is a play action guru. Very rarely do you see him drop back unless he at least attempts to stick the ball in the running backs to keep those linebackers honest. There now you're starting to see more of the short passes. Play action short passes.
Well, some teams just give up pretty much running the ball, and but they use little swing passes and short passes.
And some of them, like this, go down the field and turn around, go 5 yards and turn around. I hate that because the guy's going to get drilled, and all you're going to get is 5 yards, and you're not going to get any more than that. Don't you agree?
I see a lot of plays where they come up 1 yard short of the first down marker. There's a lot of judgment calls on refs on where they place the ball. Sometimes they get it right, and sometimes they don't seem to get it right.
Well, you want to hear the top candidates for the LSU coaching position?
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. Yeah. What he said.
Orgeron is out at the end of the season. Here are the names that everybody's bringing up right now. One of the top names out there is Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss head coach. He is, as a head coach, 70-40 at 4 different schools. Of course, Ole Miss has only lost 1 game this year. Second choice is Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher is 113-35 at 2 schools.
They couldn't buy him out of that contract, Mike. No way.
He won a national championship at Florida State. This is a name I hadn't thought of. It's Mario Cristobal's name.
Yeah, I knew it was, yeah.
He's at Oregon. Of course, Dad, Ed Orgeron and Mario Cristobal in the fifth fight. Who wins?
Because Mario Cristobal is younger, I would say him. But hey, I'll tell you this: you'd have to shoot. The LSU coach.
Oh, Ed.
Cristobal was a several-year starter for the Hurricanes when they were a dynasty. I wouldn't mess with him.
And when I mentioned you'd have to shoot it, he wouldn't quit. He would not quit on you, buddy. He'd fight you to the end.
Of course, this name always comes up, and I think this would actually be a good fit. And I think that this is kind of a guy they need, a real positive, upbeat coach, a guy that seems like he does a lot of good stuff for the community. James Franklin from Penn State, where did he want to make the move back to the SEC and leave Penn State?
It's all about this right here, dear God.
I've read a little about this, and his name keeps coming up at USC too.
Yeah, because he's made a good name for him. First of all, he's a good coach, and like Mike, you said, he's a great citizen of the community, and I don't know.
I mean, what he did at Vanderbilt is legendary. He won 9 games 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
that will never happen again.
That is remarkable. You're exactly right.
And then this is Dad's favorite vacuum cleaner salesman. Apparently, he's already in trouble at Jacksonville with the Jaguars, and already in trouble with the owner, and maybe he doesn't want to be in pro football. With Urban Meyer come back to the SEC
in a second for the right money. How much money is he making in the pros right now, you reckon?
Or the opportunity.
He's got to be making $9 million at least, 9 or 10.
And bless his heart, he's not worth it. He's overrated in my book. Would it bother you to play that vacuum cleaner salesman?
No.
He won 2 national championships in Florida and 1 at Ohio State.
Yeah, he is pretty good. Yeah.
Other names, Bob Stoops. Well, Bob Stoops back into coaching, the former Oklahoma coach.
Yeah, but I think he doesn't have the appeal anymore like he did. I always wonder why he lived in Oklahoma.
A lot of people think this is the reason Orgeron won the national championship. Is his former offense coordinator Joe Brady is now the offense coordinator for the Carolina Panthers in the NFL. Would he come back? And then a group of group of 5 coaches, they call it, non-Power 5. Leading that group is Billy Napier. Napier is only 42 years old.
Yeah. That surprises me, Mike. It really does. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, for coughing.
Napier turned down, a lot of people think, the Mississippi State and the Auburn job.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a good football coach.
Other names mentioned: Jamie Tadwell, the Coastal Carolina coach, just mentioned. Bill Clark is 53 years old. He's been mentioned as well at UAB. And then the University of Texas San Antonio coach, Jeff Traylor, has Texas San Antonio undefeated.
What's the background on that Texas A&M coach?
What's the back? What do you think of those names, Russ?
awesome list. They're all intriguing to me.
Give me a background on that Texas San Antonio coach.
Oh, okay.
I heard him. I actually was listening to Jim Rome's syndicated radio show a little bit the other day, and he was the guest.
That coach was?
Yeah, so he's getting national attention
Let's see.
now. He apparently was a long-time high school coach.
Yeah, worked his way up the high school ranks in Texas, earned the opportunity to flip University of Texas San Antonio to a Conference USA contender in just 2 seasons. He has experience as assistant coach at Texas and Arkansas. Those recruiting ties in place where LSU needs to win high-profile recruiting battles could pay off. It's not a flashy hire, but it's flashy with what LSU needs now.
Yeah, he's a good one, I tell you that.
I would think a lot of people would love to go to LSU because you got the passionate fan base and you own the state, and you got so much talent in that state. Yeah. Just like Georgia owns the state of Georgia, Georgia Tech in competing for any of those players.
That's right. But
I'll throw in this name, and he's done a great job at Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Stoops. I would look at him possibly to leave Kentucky and go to LSU. I feel like he's a guy that knows how to recruit, great defensive-minded coach. Seems like he's good in the community. Seems like he's no nonsense. I kind of think you need a disciplinarian coach at LSU, kind of like a Saban. But, Saban won a national championship, Miles won a national championship, and Orgeron won a national championship. It's a place you win national championships.
That is impressive. You're right. And people don't seem to think about that much. That's a good list out there, and I'm sure there are a few more.
Yeah, I think Mark Stoops needs to be added to that list. You're right. He's going to get some opportunities.
I'll tell you what, you missed out on one, though. The one that might get the job is the guy at the number 2 team in the country.
Cincinnati, yeah.
What about the Cincinnati, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah, Luke Fickell's name wasn't on this list.
I wonder why.
He'll be gone too, you would think.
Because he is a hot commodity. He's a great coach. I tell you what, if he can go to the playoffs with Cincinnati, he can do it with anybody.
This is a funny story. I was driving by Thomas's Donuts during the summer, early summer, and saw this big guy walking with his wife with a Cincinnati jacket on. It might have been like in May. It was Luke Fickell.
How did you know that?
Well, I see him on TV all the time.
Yeah. Did you want to stop and talk to him?
Well, I just knew that was him.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
And he's probably got a place. He's probably got a place in some stuff.
Let me tell you now, you LSU Bengal Tigers, number 1 pick. Get him, pay him what he needs, and get him. He is the best coach out there. Pickle. But don't you agree, Mike? He's the best. He's the best coach out there.
What's crazy is he came down the wire for the West Virginia job with Neil Brown.
Oh, did he really?
At West Virginia. Yeah. It came down to Fickell and Brown, and they chose Brown.
Do you notice we didn't even mention Brown, so he's not a commodity anymore. He's not a hot commodity, I don't think.
2-4 this year, and he finished 6-4 last year.
Yeah, but
he went to a bowl and won a bowl game last year.
This is the guy, Pickle. No question about it. And
but
if they get him, look out. Is he a young guy, Mike? How old is he?
Yeah, he's got to be in his 40s. He's a Big Ten guy, though. You think he would be a good fit down in Louisiana?
Saban did it.
Boy, I tell you what, those folks get fired up. Any coach that wants to get fired up, go to LSU.
Luke
Fickell is 48 years old. He played at Ohio State, and he makes $3.4 million a year.
So they could easily get that salary change,
Some people say that LSU might be having NCAA or criminal issues on the horizon, although the NCAA doesn't really seem to sanction anybody hard anymore, but there's some Title IX big controversies that are haven't really come fully forward yet.
And the other name I would think would be Napier. As the two best coaches out there. And the thing about Napier, he is already a Cajun. He is already a Cajun.
We mentioned Napier.
I know you did, but those are the two top guys.
You'll like this even more about Fickle, Dad. You know what position he played in college? He started 50 straight games for Ohio State, and he was a nose guard.
Yeah. Oh boy. God, and then you would think he would have to be a pretty big guy then. I know. Is he a big guy now? Physically.
I mean, he looks like he's still tall and big,
Yeah.
like he's a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
You don't see many former nose guards that go into coaching, do you?
Nick, tomorrow on our show, we're going to have Johnny Williams. Hopefully, that he can clear up some of these conference.
Boy, he'd really help. He'd really help with this conference realignment stuff for sure.
That's what we're going to talk about. And
I wonder if the Jack States of the world or the James Madisons are considering going Division I. It's so expensive. You got to make such a huge investment.
They would crawl to Division 1A.
They could get in the Sun Belt Conference.
Well, that might be the only way.
How long of a wait is that? It's a 2-year transition, isn't it?
Well, 2 years will pass before you know it.
But I think they question.
They would have to do it. They would have to do it after this year to be ready for 2023.
Yeah.
But the Sun Belt would go ahead and say you extend them an invitation even before they fully qualified.
Well, it would add to Troy another big rival, but at the same time, do you want that big rival?
Yes, rivalries are good.
Yeah. And of course, South Alabama.
Normally, I would say no. I want Troy to be the only Division I team besides Alabama and Auburn, but that boat sailed a long time ago.
Yeah.
With South Alabama and UAB also being in the same category.
Maybe do I need to get the Troy athletic director? Do we need to talk to him about this? It's got a lot of people.
Really sad is Southern Miss was the blue blood of Conference USA for years and years.
Right.
They're getting passed up in this expansion. I know that's had to hurt their feelings because their program's falling off so much.
Well, it has to do with timing and your brand and how good you are to. If Neil Brown
and your media market, Hattiesburg's not a huge plus.
You're right.
If Neil Brown had stayed at Troy and Troy had kept running off 10-win seasons and pulled a couple more big upsets, Troy would be in the conversation.
Yeah. Southern Miss has got some ties in the Mobile market, and then still they're pretty close to New Orleans market, so they've got a better market than Troy has.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, you got
that's the sad thing about it. Troy's sitting out there all by itself.
What conference is Southern Miss in? I don't even know.
As far as markets go.
Conference USA.
I would love for Troy and Southern Miss to be in the same conference. I think that is a good marriage right there.
I do too.
Yeah, that would basically replace South Alabama.
It would. It sure would. And
people would like to go see Troy versus Southern Miss. I'm thinking about the games that are going to get fannies in the stands and create a lot of interest. That's the type of game that would.
But let's just say this: South Alabama's on the way up, and Southern Miss on the way down.
The biggest issue is, will Conference USA merge into the Sun Belt, or will the Sun Belt merge into Conference USA?
All right, if they can get in there, they need to crawl to get there. Really, they have to.
Johnny would
I think that would be huge if they get in there. Which
the situation moving forward though is what do you do with these teams that don't play football? What do you do with the Arlingtons and the Little Rock? You gotta bring in all these teams that play football are the ones you got to bring in.
Yeah. It would. This right here, if you don't watch it, could ruin the Sun Belt Conference.
And the fans have really embraced in the last couple of years. I think have gotten excited about being in this league. There's been some continuity. There's some rivalries that formed, and the Sun Belt is really
competitive.
Yeah, it's increased its brand by winning all these big games and winning bowl games.
But again, even
in football, the top 4 or 5 teams in the Sun Belt are better than the top 4 and 5 teams of these other conferences, except for like you say. Central Florida, and even look at Central Florida this year. They're having a disastrous season.
I'll tell you what, if you lost the trip out of state and added Marshall, dude, Dad and I went to Huntington, West Virginia. That is a football crazy place, crazy town. I mean, beautiful town, right on the
river.
Right in the mountains, right across from Ohio. I mean, that would be great.
Right on the river,
well,
too.
The fans would be interested in playing Marshall. We remember Marshall. They were the team, one of the first teams that went up into Division I. And I remember when Troy beat Marshall, what did the fans do? Yeah. They stormed the field and tore down the goalposts.
Well, Mike, who did you say were the leaders in the schools that would move up to Conference USA? You say South Alabama?
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I'm going by media markets. Yeah. I'd say South Alabama would be a team I would go after. I'd go after Coastal Carolina because they're near Myrtle Beach. I'd go after App State because they're named. And then Georgia State would be in the mix because they're out of Atlanta. Lafayette, great in baseball, great in girls softball. I mean, we've got a 10,000-seat basketball arena. I mean,
and a good football team.
Football.
Yeah.
I would go after teams like that. Who I'd go after.
Troy is not going to get a bid because of a market, because it's so small, don't you think?
No.
I would not think they would.
Yeah.
Now, our facilities stack up against anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got Montgomery to the south, Dothan to the south, Montgomery to the north, and Birmingham, you can fairly reach that area. And
what Troy's got to do, I've talked about it.
They can all merge together.
What Troy has to do to get into this top tier of the group of 5 is win the conference and pull upsets when you get the chance to do it against the big teams, which Troy's done in the past.
Yeah.
You need to do exactly like Coastal Carolina's done, or like Louisiana Lafayette's done. String a couple of those years together, which Troy actually had done. I mean, it's just hard. You got to sustain it, and Appalachian State seems to have sustained it.
And this all started because of what, Mike?
Texas and Oklahoma.
The Big 12 lost Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC, and then the dominoes happened. Then the Big 12 decided to add BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida. Can you imagine Big 12 schools flying all the way to Orlando?
Oh, I know. That's the craziest thing in the world. You're right. So
let me just say this. I mean, we knew all this was going to happen, but it's one of those type things. A lot can happen on down the road. We don't know exactly for sure. Who's going to Conference USA? If the Sun Belt and Conference USA are going to merge. We do know 6 teams that were leaving Conference USA to join the American. That's official.
And one of them looks to be UAB.
Yeah, UAB is leaving to join the American Athletic.
Yeah.
Let's marry these topics we've been talking about the last 30 minutes: conference shakeups and coaches that are hot commodities. One of those coaches should be Bill Clark with the success he's had. My question is, what's the fate of UAB football without Bill Clark as their head coach? Can they sustain these winning seasons? Yeah. He's the only coach that's done it.
Well, he's going to be there for a while. I don't see that. I don't think he's leaving right now. I don't think so.
Well, he's 53 years old.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
He makes $1.6 million at UAB. He might be just comfortable.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's decided. Yeah,
and I think I'd be comfortable with 1.6.
If you take a program that was disbanded,
Chuck Dunn knows him better than anybody. He could call in one day and talk to his Buck Clark.
Well, we're gonna have a lot of not fun with it, but it's very important. We're gonna have somebody on our show tomorrow that can answer some questions. I promise you. We hope that you've enjoyed our show today. Bill Rice, along with me, Mike Amos, bidding you farewell from today in L.A. We'll see you tomorrow.